everyone. So today I'm taking your questions for fashion and style tips. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments and I will do my best to answer. Again, lost connection. Okay. So welcome to my live. So we're going to answer some of the fashion style questions. I think that right now I am going to go over like 10 commonly asked questions about personal style or fashion. So in case if any of you are joining and you miss any of parts of it, it's going to be replay on YouTube. So you can also watch all the lives on YouTube. It should be in the YouTube channel in case you miss it. So let's get started on the most commonly asked questions about personal style or about fashion. How to develop your fashion sense and also develop a personal style that is workable for your lifestyle. I think nowadays more than ever we have so much access to fashion, but I think that who am I wearing? This is a brand that I used to work for. So yeah, it's like from 20 years ago for a brand that I worked for. It's now defunct, so they don't exist anymore. Yeah. But I think that you could find it on Poshmark. So this is Tracy Reese. It's not Anna Sui, but Anna Sui was a neighbor of ours when I used to work for this designer. She was the next building, but yeah. So this is an old top from 20 years ago, and as you can see, like I still have a lot of pieces from brands that I work for, and generally, like I don't buy a lot of clothes. Number one is because I work in fashion, and a lot of the brands I work for, I work with brands that I know that I like their fashion, and I like to have their styles in my closet generally. So anyway, moving on from that, so I kind of want to ask, questions for you to kind of get a sense on how to develop your personal style and also get a sense of fashion and like appreciate fashion. Because I think like I said, like fashion is very accessible nowadays for everyone. Everyone's talking about fashion, but I think that a lot of it, while a lot of people talk about it, I think there's still some disconnect in how to utilize the information that you hear to what is really relevant that you could kind of use for every day to curate yourself a personal style. I think that that's the hardest part for a lot of people is to how to develop a personal style because more than ever with the influx of fashion, I think that people have so much access to fashion and micro trends and trends and all this stuff. So there's a lot of like fashion, that's out there. But I don't think that all the fashion is for everyone. And again, I talk about body proportions and dress up your body, the body that you actually have, and not the body that on a model or a fashion influencer who is not anywhere near your body type. And again, there is design elements that designers use to accentuate different body types. There's silhouettes that we use, there's design details, there's like neckline lengths, there is different sleeves, there's different waist proportions, something that's like an ampere waist to like a natural waist to drop waist. All this stuff plays into the factor of how it dresses up your body proportions. And again, like, I cannot emphasize enough that you really have to try on clothes that you might not necessarily find that is in your comfort zone. Try it out and see, because sometimes I think that a lot of people are afraid of trying out new styles because it's not presented to your body type, right? So you think that it might not work for you. But again, I say try out and to see, because every silhouette and design details designers use, it is used proportionally, like how we are trained to use silhouettes and design details is to dress up different body types. And every brand has a target customer, and the way their target customer look in body proportions, and just because it's a size 4, it's not universally a size 4, because depending on the brand, it might be an inch off here and there. So, and usually in women's clothing, an inch could be one size, and sometimes 2 inches is, yeah, 2 sizes, or 1.5 size difference. So you really have to try on different clothes and different styles to just see. And I think it's to take in, when you see ads and models, they are giving you like a styling, or even influencers, they're giving you an idea of how to style clothes. It's not to say that you have to cookie cutter the same exact style or how they style it, because how you wear something and how I wear something is completely different. So so that's something to factor in when you are considering personal style. Again, to go off the questions, like to develop your personal style, is ask yourself, it's like, how will you describe your style right now? If you had to, if you were telling your friend, about, let's just say that you are going on a shopping trip, and you're looking for, replenishing your wardrobe, for missing pieces. How will you describe your style? That's like a very basic key point in developing personal style, is really like think about how you would describe your personal style. Like, and the other thing is, like, what do you want your personal style to say about you? Because again, like, personal style is a way of using fashion to self-express, the way you want to convey your persona, right? And how you want to express. Because let's face it, like, what we wear, it has a lot of bearing in how others perceive us, and also how we want to convey, like, how people want to perceive us, So it's like a two-way street. So how you want to project yourself, your persona, your personality, it has to kind of come through in how you style your clothes, your wardrobe, things like that, right? So this way, it's a self-expression. And then on the flip side, it's like how the other person is going to perceive your look, right? Again, personal style is a self-expression. Think about it as a uniform of how you pair clothes together to create certain looks. Because some people have a very basic, minimalist style aesthetic. They like neutrals. They don't like fuss, designing. They don't like fussy details in their clothes, right? And even if they do colors, they don't do necessarily loud colors. So besides going to neutrals, they might go to like soft pastels, earth tones, and things like that, right? And then someone who has a very maximalist style aesthetic, they like a lot of details in their clothes, in their outfits, and they like to wear bright colors. So visually, when they wear something, it has a louder personality than someone who has a minimalist style aesthetic. So that's something to factor in when you are describing your style. And then some people like, you know, a more masculine look, which is a kind of like a what I say is a edgier style aesthetic. And then on the flip side is some people like a more feminine style aesthetic. So there are like, for me, I think there's like four basic style aesthetic, and then there is a way of combining like all these four style aesthetics to create other style aesthetics. You know, so you might have a very feminine style aesthetic, but it's very basic. But you could also have a feminine style aesthetic that is very maximalist, that's very loud. So that's something to consider. And then the other thing is, if you really think about, you know, finding styles, there are people out there that have a great sense of style, right? And then you just have to find the people that kind of speak to you, that kind of have like looks that you admire, you know, and then try to figure out what are the elements of their style that you like. So this way you can kind of pick out the points, you know, of what you like about their style, and then try to see if you can incorporate the same looks or elements of those looks into your style aesthetic. So again, your personal style should be, number one, functional to your lifestyle, and two, it really has to be a way of self-expressing yourself. I'm gonna take some questions, so feel free to drop in some comments if you have any comments. Okay. Another thing that regarding personal style, you know, look, I think that generally how someone dresses in their 20s and someone who dresses in their 30s and the 40s and 50s and 60s and so on is definitely different, because I don't think a person's style is consistently like the same. I think there is like an evolution of the core of your personal style, because I think that my style has always been kind of the same. I like the timeless classic styles, and then I like to add accent pieces into the styles that I have. So when you factor that in, I think that you have to kind of see like, no matter what, I don't think that if you are talking about, you know, self-expression on your personal style, that your personality changes all that much, that all of a sudden, you know, you go from a very minimalist style aesthetic to a very maximal style aesthetic. I haven't seen anyone that really has done that, you know, and I'm not talking about celebrities or, you know, fashion influencers or whatnot, because I think like sometimes like it could be that they're playing up to celebrities could, you know, play up to some kind of character, or they change stylists, and then, but I think like real people don't really change their style, the core style aesthetic, but you see an evolution of um, the look, but it's still like, it's an evolution from when you're in your 20s. It's a little more experimental, and I think when you are a little more subtle and you've experimented with enough styles, I think when you go into your 30s, you become like more stable in your personal style, and knowing like what styles work for you and what styles work for your lifestyle. So I think that there is something to be said that, you know, the older you get, the more money that you are willing to spend on curating like a high quality wardrobe, things that will last you a longer period of time, because you know what your lifestyle is going to be, and generally you have a goal of what you want your life to be, right? So your wardrobe really fits into your lifestyle, when you start reaching your 30s. And as the older you get, the more you start to create outfits and looks, and the less likely you are to buy into trends and things that do not work for your lifestyle. And I think that this is something where um, a lot of brands, where I know that they use a lot of younger models because it's feeding into um, that whole cycle of fashion. Because if you think about how fashion works nowadays, um, any major fashion brand put out, I think, 7 shows now. I think there's like, I think it's like 7 shows, because it's like a generally it's like the spring summer show, the fall, the autumn winter show. Then you have cruise, you have resort, then you have all these like other, like the couture shows and all this other stuff. So anyway, so I think like with that, I think for fashion brands, it's like the more collections they put out, the more they need people to buy into new products. But I want to kind of talk about not buying things that are trendy or things that aren't. And I think that most of us know that, yeah, there are very interesting styles that come down the runway, but I know for a fact that 30% of things on the runway, they don't get produced. And I just know this just because I've worked in fashion for like over 30 years, and brands usually, like, there are runway pieces only, and the more higher end the brands are, the more the styles are less likely to be produced. I know that when we did production for Caroline Herrera and Oscar de Renta, like, we produced like 30 pieces of a style, like a gown, and that's like a bestseller. And usually like an average of 10 pieces of a gown is produced. So yeah. And then a lot of like these, and I'm sure that you see it on all these luxury brands or high-end fashion brands, that the fashion doesn't sell all that much. It doesn't get produced all that much. And even if you go into the luxury design stores, like if you go to Hermes, like Hermes has a lot of accessories more than the clothes. And I know that Fendi also has a lot more of the accessories. They do have a lot more clothing than Hermes per se. And then if you go to like really high end, like I know La Piana, they actually do a lot more clothing um, than, I would say, Fendi and Hermes combined. And then if you go to Ferragamo, Ferragamo's like a mixed bag. They do actually have a lot more ready-to-wear clothes in their stores and even in department stores than a lot of brands. And I know this because I, regularly go to department stores and also the brand stores to check out, new styles and stuff like that, and to see what's on the selling floor and what is actually being produced. Because if you ever go, you can see usually like on the top tier, um, those styles, you know, if you see couture, couture does not get made unless someone orders it, and it usually takes like 3 months for the 3 to 4 months for those couture brands to produce something, because it's custom, and a lot of times it requires a lot of multiple fittings to one specific customer. So it's not like how ready to wear it's made, where they find a fit model, and the fit model is generally like a universal fit for the brand, and then it gets produced. And usually on like the contemporary designer brands, I think of roughly about like 100 to 350 pieces of a style gets produced every season. And then something that's just like a lower and like moderate designer price point, they can produce like 500 to maybe 1,000 pieces. And then you get mass market stuff that gets produced like 10,000s and 20,000s. That's where you get like the fast fashion stuff. So we have like some summer bugs. And my voice is cracking. Sorry, it's just been rough. Yeah, I think I need a glass of water. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. I will do my best to answer your comments. Okay. Okay. How would you advise people getting started and how to look for jobs, internships? So I think that how I hire interns or how I hire people throughout my course, my career is like I know in the past I have gone through schools because it's part of the curriculum, and I think nowadays it's a lot harder for people to hire just a willy-nilly internships because I think like a lot of companies or brands, they have been pretty abusive to interns. So I think like I think about 10 years ago or so, there have been an influx of fashion interns that have filed lawsuits. So companies are less open to hire interns outside of school programs. And if they do, and really like the interns I've hired, like I've always paid for, because I don't believe people like should work for free, unless like it's part of a school curriculum, thing like that. But if someone has a skill set, but I don't know if they are really a good fit, I will give them a 3-month internship, just kind of test them out, but I will still pay them, so that's the kind of thing like I would do. And really, I don't believe in free internships unless it's part of a school curriculum. And a school curriculum, you do have objectives that you have to teach the intern, because I think more than 70% of the interns that intern with me, like I either recommend them for another position, just because the companies I was with do not have openings, or if there is an opening, like if it's a good person, that I intend to hire because they have a skill set or they have like qualifications that where I could train them to fit a position. Generally, like I hire them or I refer them to someone who can hire them. So I think that for the most part, I know that a lot of people who go to bigger brands to get internships, and I think like that's not always the best thing. If you really want to learn a skill set, is to go to like a mid-tier or smaller brand and make sure that when you are getting the internship, that there's an objective of a curriculum. I cannot emphasize enough, because I've had a lot of interns that come through me who, you know, really don't have a sense of what they want to do, and usually they don't pass the muster with me. If someone who comes in with an objective of learning something to fill a position, I'm more likely to hire them, because the amount of people who are looking for internships or entry positions, um, there are quite a few, especially like if it's a good company and if it's a good brand, like people know what those companies are. And I think that there are people who, and I definitely know this for sure, is, the industry isn't that big, and there are certain companies that, gets word of mouth that if you've gone through an internship with those companies, you're less likely to get hired from them because just the mere fact that the things you learn in those internships, it's not any skill set that's really good, and it's just, um, yeah, it's not like a good internship or good, entry into. So I think that if you are looking for an internship, just be very careful and come with an objective of what you want to get out of the internship. Just like you need an internship, the brands also need help, so it has to be a good trade-off. Okay. Okay. I will do more videos about how to spot quality garments. I have a whole list of things, but it's just that I have other things going on, so I'm not doing as many TikTok as I would like because I have other things pending. But I definitely have a lot more TikTok coming up with how to spot quality garments and things like that. How do you select a good tailor? I've done two TikTok videos on that. So there's 3 things that I've said in. I think there's like 2 or 3 TikTok videos about it. How to spot it. So you can look up those videos. Okay, I am always happy to give useful tips. Because I know that I get a lot of comments, in my TikTok and even like just in general, like a lot of people don't really mentor anymore, or if they mentor, like, yeah, this whole mentorship is sadly lacking, and to me, it's sad because I started my career and I had so many great mentors, and this is how I know the stuff that I know because I'm just basically like one of those annoying kids, when I was doing my internship, even my first job, like I asked a million one questions, but the reason why people are willing to answer me is because I'm always like, you need help? You need help? What can I do? Can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? Ooh, that looks interesting. Can I learn that? So you have to kind of, ask for it. Don't be like a wallflower. If you want to learn, you have to ask. Because no one is going to. This is the other thing that a lot of people are very mindful of nowadays because of the internship lawsuits and stuff like that, is not to give the work out, because a lot of the work is unpaid internships, so because of lawsuits and stuff like that, a lot of people are kind of like tiptoeing around things, so you have to be inquisitive, and you have, if you want to learn something, ask, because, people who know a lot, they don't mind sharing, but also their time is also, they have a lot on their plate. So if you're not offering to help, to get that information. It's like a trade-off, right? So if you want to learn something, then you have to do something, right? No matter how silly it is, the worst thing they can say to you is no, right? But at least you ask. If you don't ask, you're never gonna learn. And just try to be helpful, be super helpful. Be inquisitive. Because um, most people who know information, they don't mind sharing. So, like, ask. And I think that the other thing is, I've had this before where um, where I think like don't come off as a know-it-all, because also like it's annoying, for people who have a busy schedule. Like if you know it, then why do you need me to teach you, that kind of thing. So it's like a trade-off. Just like be mindful of, how you navigate and how you talk to people. And I know that a lot, I mean, I see it on TikTok, and I don't know um, how prevalent it is, because I've had some like this experience where um, like it's just annoying if you come off with being a know-it-all, and then you think that you are above something. Like these people have 20 30 years experience over you. And I think it's disrespectful, if you want to learn something, is to discount them. And then you also have to, not everything that you are gonna be told or taught is good information. So you have to kind of distinguish, and you have to ask like multiple people. If you go to like a big company, usually there are like 50, 60 people. So ask around and learn stuff. Anyway, I think I'm going off on this live. Anyway, if you have any other questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram with any other questions, or join me on the live next week. And if you missed this live, you could rewatch it on YouTube. Anyway, I gotta get going, and thank you for joining me. Bye.